We're going to be talking about the climate crisis, guys. 2023 was the UK's second hottest year on record. And we're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from The Guardian with the headline, The Climate Crisis 2023 was the UK's second hottest year on record. Such a warm year would have occurred once in 500 years without global heating, the Met Office scientists have said. Now, before we read into it, obviously I know there is skepticism about climate change. There are still those people out there. And I want to make this very, very clear about climate change because I understand why some people, in their own interest, want to deny it. Um, but the actual reality is that you only need to see what's happening around the world with some of the weather warnings, the weather storms, the earthquakes, and the devastations that Mother Nature has occurred in the last several years. There have been countless of them, a lot more recently than there have been in for a long time, guys. Yes, yes, devastations still take place around the world. They've always have been. Yes, that is true, but they're becoming more frequent. And one thing that is becoming more factual is that the planet is getting hotter, guys. It is getting hotter. And we can see that the planet is getting hotter by the temperatures being rising. This is what scientists are saying, that if we don't do something to reduce it, it's only going to get worse. And here in the UK, guess what we're doing? We're going in the opposite direction, believe it or not. We're planning to, later this year, we're going to be opening the Rosebank, opening up more oil for Rosebank, producing more oil that isn't even going to be going into the UK energy market. It's going to go on the international market. Therefore, we make no money off it whatsoever. So we're just emitting more carbon emissions into the air anyway. We're opening up a coal mine in Cumbria. Again, like they're saying that this is to help with regards to British Steel, okay, but still it's still going to damage the environment. And then of course we're still working on building new nuclear power plants. Again, not wind and solar, which is, we're a freaking island. There's plenty of space here around here for us to do that, but for some reason, no, we don't want to do that for some reason. So we are not doing our part when it comes to the climate crisis. Now, yes, of course, there are other nations not doing their part, and you can rightly point that out in the comment section below. Yes, and I'm not going to argue with you about that. But this is about what the UK is doing, and what is the United Kingdom doing to help meet these goals. And it shouldn't be a case of we should be making sure we start this at a certain point. No, we should be doing it now. And you can tie the change into green energy into the cost of living crisis if done appropriately. You can do that. We can do it without the needs of millions of people going out of their jobs or whatnot. You just need to transition it. Yes, it is a time consuming thing, but it is something that can be done. And I believe, that you can create jobs and prosperity, by creating more green energy and getting more people involved in that kind of stuff. There is an opportunity here, and I generally hope that Labour, with their green plan, they will do that. But considering that I've heard things about them rolling back on stuff, I am very cautious about jumping on the Labour bandwagon, saying that they're going to do everything for us. I do think, when it comes to the climate, that they're in a much the UK is in the better, safer hands with a Labour government than right now the Conservative government, when they seem to be backtracking on a lot of things when it comes to climate, guys. So, the UK has its second hottest year on record in 2023, according to provisional data from the Met Office, as the climate crisis continues to develop elevated temperatures. Such a warm year would have occurred only once in 500 years without human-caused global heating, the scientists said. The heat peaked in June and September, with both records hot months in a series dating back to 1884. The UK's 10 warmest years have all occurred since 2003. Globally, 2023 is expected to have been the planet's hottest year on record, driven by carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere that are at their highest for at least 2 million years, and the return of the Pacific Ocean phenomenon known as El Niño. The observations of the UK climate are clear, says Mike Kendon, the Met Office. Climate change is influencing UK temperature records over the long term, with 2023 going down as another very warm year. I remember the previous year before in 2022, we had one day on record where it was like 38, 39, and I never ever felt heat like that in the UK in my entire life. It was killing, absolutely killing stuff. Excuse me. 2023 had more than its fair share of rain, with impactful storms like Babet and Ciarán influencing the figures, he said. Climate projections suggest an increase in the frequency of hotter, drier summers and warmer, wetter winters. A warmer atmosphere has a greater capacity to hold moisture, so as our climate warms, we expect it to become wetter too. And that trend is also apparent in the observations. The average temperature in 2023 of 9.97 Celsius was marginally lower than the 10.03 Celsius record in 2022. The Met Office says such warm years were expected every 3 years in today's heated climate. Bob Ward, the policy director at the Grantham Research Institute on Climate Change at the London School of Economics, said the warming has been accompanied by sea level rise around our coasts, more intense rainfall and more deadly heat waves, all of which are hampering our growing number of lives and livelihoods in the UK. All of these impacts will go on to increasing the world reaches net zero emissions. The UK should be leading an example in tackling the cause of climate change, particularly fossil fuels, he said, adding that the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak must show that he understands how imperative it is to accelerate and not slow down the transition of net zero emissions. The guy don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. There's no point appealing to the current Prime Minister. He doesn't care. The UK is awarding new licenses for oil and gas extractions and has approved a new coal mine. Both of them I've mentioned already. UK's Greenpeace Policy Director Doug Parr said climate alarm bells are ringing following back-to-back hottest years on record, but Sunak has his fingers in his ear. There is a massive vote of support for climate action. Unless Sunak reverses his decisions and delivers the kind of bold policies needed to tackle climate crisis, his likely short premiership will be marked as one of a climate failure. A government spokesperson has said, "We are committed to tackling climate change by meeting our net zero targets in international committees, all without placing undue burdens on our families." Like I said, guys, you can tie it into the cost of living crisis, but they don't give a damn. "We are world leaders in cutting emissions. We have done the fastest in any other major economy since the 1990s, and with the UK now accounting for just 1% of the annual global emissions." Again, guys, it's just rhetoric talk from them. They are not taking this seriously. The Conservatives do not take this seriously. Have they made some strides in their 13 years as 13-year rule? They have made some strides. I'm not going to deny that they haven't made some strides in certain parts of the United Kingdom. That I'm not going to argue. But are they going as far as they can? No. They can do so much more. And yes, I understand there's a cost of living crisis. Like I said, you can tie into it and create green prosperity, creating green jobs, for people in doing so. There is a way to do this. It is an action plan that needs to be required and needs to be thought and processed out by a Labour when they come into power, so that they are able to make this transition without needing to hurt the people who are suffering right now in a cost of living crisis. We have to make this transition. It has to be done. All these people saying we're in a cost of living crisis right now, you can't afford to make ends meet. Your kids aren't going to have a future. If we continue down this trend, we have to take this seriously. Yes, we do have to deal with the economy, we have to deal with the cost of living crisis, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't ignore the big fat warning signs that scientists have been telling us for goddamn decades, is that the planet is getting hotter and we need to do our part in the United Kingdom to help avert that. So what do you guys think? How hot do you think it's going to be this year in the UK? How hot is it going to be in where you are around the world listening to this? Do you believe in climate change? Do you think the UK government is doing enough? Do you agree with me that they have done some parts in their 13 years of rule? Or do you think all our hopes are pinned on Labour in the next Labour government and what they plan to do when it comes to climate change? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Make sure you hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by joining YouTube membership for just 99p or getting exclusive content on my Patreon. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.